You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Breaking Bad After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Breaking Bad After Show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV Breaking Bad Season 5, Episode 3, entitled Hazard Play. I am your host, Maria Menounos, alongside
Keven Undergaro,
John Comerford,
and Kristen Snyder.
And Bing is for doing, ladies and gentlemen, and we are doing yet another after show for our favorite television show. We have many topics to discuss tonight, but I think we will start with Skyler and Marie and Walt and Skyler and Walt and Marie. There's a few different.
For me, it's all about Skyler's breakdown. I thought that was the greatest.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
It was long overdue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah. It'd been building and building and building.
I mean,
finally,
right,
she cracked.
To your point, Kristen, how many seasons? That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Of Marie just being
Trying
a
to hold it
civilian
together.
chatterbox.
She won't shut up.
I
No pun intended.
I kind of wish it would have been more. I kind of wish he would have done something
But
more.
here's why I was annoyed. I was annoyed because, you see your sister and you see her snapping quietly. Internally, she was snapping. She was smoking a cigarette, which was
Right.
out of character for her, and she just kept going.
Yeah.
Okay, but hell, that's a surprise to you. It's Marie.
I
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
when you see her in that moment, I would think that she would be like, Marie,
Well,
what's
you're
happening?
far more-
Skyler,
How
what's
many
happening?
housewives
Yeah.
do we know from Friends who
Yeah.
are just like that, and they're
Yeah.
annoying, right? And we just don't want to be around them.
And you're far more
I'm gonna
in tune
I'm gonna
with
come to
somebody
Marie's
else's-
defense.
Oh boy.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
All
hold on.
right, all right.
No, because I got to watch it with my girlfriend the past seasons, and here's the thing. No, last season she tried to take care of Hank, who basically threw everything on her, and it was so unappreciative.
Right.
Everyone's always been unappreciative of her, and her
Because
cries
she's annoying.
and her cries for help when she stole. No one was paying attention.
Right.
That's my take on it. And I don't think she knows how to handle this situation.
She's very dramatic,
Yeah.
and I think she's a great actress, and I think it's
Terrific.
great writing because I know several housewives. We don't keep company with them, mind you, but I have a lot of my guy friends that I'm really close with or whatever, and
Yeah.
then that's what they marry, and you're stuck with that, and you want to Remember in Washington that time with that,
I
right?
know. I
So-
wanted to die.
Okay, and that wasn't exactly like Marie.
Yes.
So there you go.
Precisely.
That's why I think it's.
But let's talk about what led to that, because
Right.
what led to that was Walt
Yeah.
unpacking John.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's an extension of last season, but even last week when he starts the scene in the bed, and you guys were creeped out beyond belief.
Yes.
And then he snuggled up to her, and everybody's freaked out by that, creeped out by it. But now he's casually moving back in, putting things in his closet, moving her stuff over.
But what I want to know is when you guys saw that, what are you thinking? I mean, is he just barging in? I mean, there's no conversation to be had with
he's-
Skyler.
Maria,
And what's his motivation?
He's
He
the
has a
man.
condo.
he's
Yeah.
the man.
Right, he's moving
He's
back
the
into his
man
house.
now, and
he
he's like,
wants his
"What-
family back.
I'm not selling that a condo. I take a bath right now.
Yeah.
I get screwed on right now on
Yeah.
that.
But
If
what's
I
the
sold-
rationale?
Let me finish.
Rationale for what? Moving back in?
The rationale is he's the man. He's
Yeah.
no longer a whipping boy. He's no longer like
Yeah.
the guy sitting there. I go back to this all the time. That's lying in his bed getting
Yeah.
a hand job from the wife on his birthday as she's bidding on eBay items.
And what?
He's now a gangster.
She had the
But he
affair.
was a gangster
But-
before.
yeah, but
He
no,
was
no,
high-
no,
but
Heisenberg.
no.
She also had the affair. Why did he have to get kicked out of the house?
He acts like
Maria,
it wasn't even a big
he
deal
was
either.
becoming
Yeah.
a gangster. I'm saying he's full blown now.
Yeah,
Do you think
okay.
Suge Knight?
He's moving back
Do
in.
you think? Let's
Yeah.
just think.
I'm
of
just
any-
asking. I already
Yeah.
know the answer to my question,
Yeah.
but that's my
Right.
job.
Okay.
Here as the host.
I feel like he
I
used
know all of
to-
these things.
These things that he sort of used to appreciate when they came around, now he just feels like he's due. He deserves these things.
But I just love that cavalier attitude.
Yeah.
Like, it's over. Everything's fine
Well,
now.
I mean, the way it
I
was-
killed
Well,
the
last
Wicked
week,
Witch of the West.
last
it's
week
over.
he snuggles up to her in bed and she's like,
But
you know,
wait.
Why
You're
not? It's just an
just let me
extension.
finish. Just consider what I'm saying here. Think back of even people we knew back in the North End or whatever. Like, think of your hardcore gangsters. That's what he is now. He was not at full power. This is Walt now being a pimp. And do you think any pimp or like gangster would ever? No, the bitch is the bitch. I'm moving back in, and and I'm gonna keep the condo too. You know, because I would take a. He didn't say we. I would take a loss on it if I sold it right now.
He's not taking any votes at this
That,
point.
thank you.
Well, he even says it in the car. It's in a
Right.
different scene. Why? Should we take a vote?
No,
Why?
He's the boss.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Would Gus ever?
But you know what's funny? And I'm going to jump to one quote that he
Yeah.
gave, but it applies to this in my mind. So when Mike and he were discussing the new roles, and we'll get to that in the next segment,
Yeah.
but when he said he handles the biz and I handle him,
Yeah.
I thought back and I said, wow, that's exactly what he's doing with Skyler. She handles the biz and he handles her.
Right.
Isn't that
And-
amazing?
Pretty
And
sure.
Jesse. I feel
Oh,
like he's
man,
doing that with
Well,
Jesse
he's
as well.
okay,
Right?
He's trying to handle everything.
Listen, he's Gus. This is you
Yeah,
guys. Gus
clearly.
played everybody.
Yeah.
You
Master
know.
manipulator.
Right.
And he learned.
So
He
you've
learned
got
very well.
Walt moves back in like nothing ever happened. Skyler now was already about to tip and just crumble. She crumbles in front of Marie. Marie comes in, which when we saw the preview last week, we're like, does Marie find out?
Yeah.
Is that what's going to happen? And it's like, no, she doesn't find out, but she wants to find out why her sister is so
sister said-
distraught.
What made Skyler, though, tip over? Was it she was fine with the drug dealing and now it's the murdering that she can't deal with?
I think she is so afraid of what he is capable of
Right.
Yep.
and what he has become that if you're sleeping with someone
Yeah.
and you were never, ever, and never in your wildest dreams could you imagine that Keven was capable of murdering all these people, not
Wow.
blinking, and now all of a sudden you realize he is. Well, what's to prevent him from snapping and getting mad at me?
Right.
You never know where it's going to end. And I also think there's something about the distance. It was, you can be in denial about it 'cause he's not even in the house. So it's not really in my space. But now he's in the bed. Not even just in the house, but he's in the bed. So you have to face all that stuff that he's capable of, and all the stuff that you're not sure what he's of what he's capable. So it gets even
One
crazier.
of our fans, Michael August. You know,
Hi, Michael.
he writes me his thoughts, and he mentioned the book Walt picked up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass.
Leaves of Grass, written by Walt Whitman, similar name to Walter White. It was Whitman's life's work, and it took 35 years to write. The interesting point, as Mike says, is the later editions have a photo of an older Whitman looking wiser with a beard and sporting a jacket, the same way we see Walt White in the season's opening scene at Denny's. Whitman celebrated the power of the human mind in his poems. Just kind of interesting because
Wait, Whitman, what was the last line?
he celebrated the power of the human mind in his poems.
I have to say, Michael should be a part of our show.
He is.
That was
He-
like
that's
there's
how-
a lot of
There he is.
research
Oh, no,
in
he has
that
a-
and a lot of
He's
careful
amazing.
thought.
He and the steamer.
He should
Unbelievable.
call in.
Amazing.
I want to also talk about Marie and Walt, and when Marie was trying to figure out what was wrong with Skyler,
Yeah.
she said, "Is your cancer back?" Am I forgetting? Did we resolve whether his cancer is gone or not on the show?
It's not completely gone.
Yeah.
It's in remission.
It's in
shrank.
remission, so
It's in
it could
remission.
come back. So that's what she was worried about. But
Okay.
it's never really. It's
not
a
really
question that's
gone yet.
always there.
But he has
He's
a
had
new
his treatment.
disease.
It's in remission, but you never know if it could come back.
I feel like he has a new disease now, though, and that's
Yeah.
greed.
Well, I loved his look. I know we're talking
Power.
about
It's
There
not
you
even
go.
greed, it's power.
when she's asking him those questions, you could see him just thinking and say, "What lie do I want to say?" here?"
And he was back to the most
Amazing.
amazing Walt we could ever
Amazing.
see. It's just
Yeah.
a quick transition. Oh, you didn't know?
Oh yeah, and the way he played it is just he's really good at planting the seed in them and
Yeah,
letting
please.
them figure it out.
Yeah,
and he's
please
the
don't
one that
say
wants-
anything. I
Okay.
don't want her to feel horrible.
and I don't want Hank to look down on her. I don't want have
Yeah,
it bad.
and he's the victim.
Yeah,
God, how
exactly.
many
we
people
all
do
gasped.
How
Yeah.
many people do we know like that?
Oh my
That-
I
god.
know.
They can spin it around and turn themselves into the victim.
But my
Yeah.
favorite is we're watching it and all of us gasped at the same time. We're like, he's amazing. This is
Yeah,
brilliant.
It's incredible manipulation. It was terrific.
So we covered Skyler and Marie.
Yeah.
Walt and Marie. Now, Walt and Skyler. Skyler's in her bedroom.
Right.
And she's had a breakdown.
Yep.
You can just see she's like legs apart, arms
Yeah.
apart. She's just a mess.
Passed out on the
And
bed.
all of a sudden
staring
you
at the
hear
ceiling.
all these gunshots. And I'm thinking, what could she possibly be listening to? I listen to white noise when I want to
Yeah.
calm down or I'm sleeping. I listen to thunderstorms.
Yeah.
I'm like, her white noise app is really strange. Then you're wondering, is she watching a TV show? No. Oh no. Someone else is watching something.
Yeah. It's intruded. I'm not even safe here in my room where I'm having a breakdown. I can't. These forces are coming in.
But not even that. Don't you think it's just there's violence all around me?
Yeah.
I can't escape it.
Yeah. Well, and that's
I
what was
mean-
fear. I mean, the language they were using was just everybody gets killed in this. And
Yeah,
I mean,
everyone
the
dies in this
imagery,
movie, don't they?
exactly. Yeah.
I feel like that's
She knows-
foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. Yeah,
but
she
when
knows
he
where that
just
thing's headed.
Walks out to that 3 shot
Yeah.
of the sun
With
the
the
baby.
And the baby had a smile on its face.
Oh, really?
Very
Oh, that's
creepy
nice.
and eerie.
Yeah.
Right?
That was
Did you
great.
see that?
Yes,
Daylight, my little
What a
friend.
beautiful
This is like
little
a
baby.
Dexter in being born.
but he's
great.
laughing.
Yeah.
He's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
She's horrified
Oh.
because, you know,
Her baby's watching Al Pacino kill everyone.
And, yeah.
And she's in the
gonna
arms
get
of
killed.
someone who thinks he's Al Pacino in that movie.
Wants to be. I thought it was interesting because they had that movie, and then earlier when Walt and Jesse, after they did their cook, they're watching TV, but it's now an innocent, comedic Three Stooges getting their asses shot. So that's the funny part of
Right.
it. That's what they
great
think about the violence.
juxtaposition.
We
Right.
come later, and in her view, everybody gets killed, so we get to see it from two different perspectives.
the other the other thing
You're
there.
gonna say what I was
what,
gonna
the
say.
Three Stooges.
Yeah.
And then of course,
Yeah.
but also no, he when Saul says, you know,
Yeah,
so
we're the three amigos.
amigos.
Yeah.
But also the Three Stooges, it was the Three Stooges and a gorilla. Like, and
Right.
I mean, I don't know if this was that thought out where Mike is
Yeah.
the gorilla. You
Could
know,
be.
'cause, like,
Could
right-
be.
And then if you notice, it was all three. So it was like
Yeah.
you had Jesse and the girlfriend and the son watching,
Right.
playing video games, and then the contrast of Walt Jr., Walt, and
Yeah.
the baby
I didn't notice that.
watching
Scarface.
Scarface.
Yeah.
Is Walt so unaware of how much the mother of his children despises him? Is he completely unaware? Or
Of
it just
course.
doesn't matter?
I don't think he's
Absolutely.
unaware. I don't think he's unaware. I think he realizes, but I don't think he. It's not that he doesn't
Mm-mm.
care. I
Listen.
don't think it bothers him as much as it used to. Because here's the thing, he learned. Oh, she had a breakdown from Marie, right? Marie, she had a
Did he go
breakdown.
comfort her?
She's in. No, what does he? He doesn't go. You know, look. It's the old Walt would have gone down that hall and
This
tried
is-
to help her.
But John's gonna say
No.
right now it answers your question, Kristen, because he wasn't. He was. We didn't know where he was at, and he
Yeah.
didn't know where she was at. Now go ahead, John.
Yeah, because now he knows she's had a breakdown. Does he go down to soothe her, comfort her, anything? No. He goes and takes a big bite of the apple.
And just how that was shot.
Yeah.
Long shot of the hallway. He's standing there alone.
Right.
He had a
He-
moment.
He had a choice. He had
That's
a
right.
choice. He could have gone down there and, oh, my wife had a breakdown. Geez, I better go find out what happened or how bad it is. No.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, well,
Right?
I'll get to it when I get to it. Yeah.
No, but see, my instinct was to answer your question and say absolutely has no idea. He's so narcissistic. It's all about him. He doesn't care. Because even when Jesse and he were talking and he was like, what do you think of all this? He's like, oh, I broke up with
Yeah.
her. He's like, not this, the money. It's all about him
Right?
and his stuff.
Read the
So my
room.
instinct was to say that he doesn't care. He's so self-involved. He is unaware, but no, you're right. I think John.
he's aware. He's just, I'm not going down. I've done that before. I'm choosing to do away.
But I think it's also even another form. It's like he knows, but he's now going to play mind games with
Oh
her.
yeah, he clearly is playing a
himself,
mind game.
Right?
True.
It's all a game with him.
Well, yeah, the whole thing's been a game. I mean, the chess match with Mike, the chess match with Jesse. I mean, right now, we're seeing Gus coming through. I mean, he's parroting basically how Gus, groomed Jesse. We'll get to that
but
later.
and by the way, but the way Gus played everybody.
Everybody.
It
Yeah.
was like he had that one partner, his boyfriend,
Right.
back when they started the business.
Right.
That guy got killed, and that stomped out his heart, and that was it.
That's it. Now he's
And that
playing
was it. It
everybody.
was all business.
Mhm.
And it's interesting to see Walter do this, but like last year he was victimized. I mean,
Yeah, he
think
was.
of all
Yeah,
the-
you were
so
driving me
vulnerable all
crazy.
last year, and
Yeah.
now every episode he's getting stronger and stronger.
And darker and,
And darker. And we also know, from Mike August to Steamer, good points both of these guys pointed out, is the fact that Marie's talking about his birthday coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this started at 50.
Right.
We know his 51st birthday, right, Phil? We would say it's going to be the 51st birthday,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so then it's like, 52
So it's
is
been
the
a-
one in Denny.
yeah.
So think of,
So it's been a year.
it's been a year, and think
from
of
the
all the
Denny's.
stuff that's going to go down.
I didn't think about that.
So that gives us some
Good
context.
pickup.
So it's been a year since he was diagnosed. So all this has happened within a year, and then we have a year later for when we see him in Denny's in New Hampshire.
Here's what you guys have to talk about because we're going to get so much S about
Oh,
if we don't.
okay.
We have to talk about the fact that they are watching Scarface because Vince Gilligan has
No, it's
compared-
not Scarface.
Mm.
No,
Was that The Godfather?
no, it
No,
was
no, that's
Goodfellas.
Scarface.
No, was
No,
it good?
Scarface.
No,
It was
Scarface,
Scarface.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I
Come
thought
on,
it was The
Maria.
Godfather. Sorry.
Okay, so what are they saying?
I got nervous.
Don't
No,
hate
because
me. I don't know. I thought
Vin-
it was.
Vince, well, I thought I was going to be hated by many fans, but Vince always said that he compared this to Scarface. So you guys have to talk about
got
that
it.
and then the transition to the money.
Oh,
Sure.
I have
Oh,
that
right,
written
right,
down. Guns to transition
Oh, it's a
to money
great
transition.
edit.
I loved
Great
it.
edit. Yeah, great edit. So yeah, okay, so Vince Gilligan, I didn't know this. He's always likened the Breaking Bad to.
He's always said it's basically we're taking a Mr. Chips, milk and cookies type guy to Scarface.
Oh, yeah, of course, I
That's
forgot that
Breaking Bad.
reference.
So he said that from
Yeah.
day one, and I felt like it was kind of corny when I saw that being the movie played, only because I've seen that from Vince time and time again. So I was like, really, you're
You
just
feel-
gonna throw it out
You
there?
seen what that scene from Vince?
I've just heard him talk about
Oh.
how that's what it is. So I kind of felt like, okay, now you're just gonna throw it in our face for people who aren't watching the interviews with you.
I think it
Well,
was
see,
just a
none
nod
of
to
us
the
had
fans.
known about
Right,
it,
I guess
so
it's
Just
okay.
a nod to the fans to say,
Yeah.
okay, this is where just
Like
a
a
nod
little
to
wink.
the fans. Exactly.
I
just a little
think
wink.
it would have felt very obvious. I can see where you're going to, but what made it for me was his reaction and the
Yeah.
son's reaction
And her reaction.
and the baby, and of
Right.
course Skyler.
Yeah.
That's what made
That's
it.
what made it for me. Is her reaction like, oh my god, because
Yeah.
she doesn't know the conversation Vince has had.
She's
Correct.
truly living
Yeah.
in hell.
Exactly.
I mean, this is under my roof.
That's right.
And
He is.
This is-
crazy. Well, why don't we get to our live read so we can get to our next topic, Mike and the division of labor, which I'm very excited to talk about.
yeah, but before we talk about that, right? You don't buy a lot of things on Amazon, Maria, because everyone gives you things for free because you're a celebrity. but for
I
me, who
do.
enjoys spending your money, I like to go to
Enjoy
Amazon.
spending your money.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I like to go to Amazon and I like to buy my stuff, as you know, and you make fun of me, right?
Yes.
And what did I buy last week? Off of Amazon.
I don't know. You always buy sneakers or suitcases or.
No, what did I buy? You know, it's a big. You made fun of me. Well, come on.
What did you
this
buy?
was-
Oh, the doohickeys for the car.
Yes. Yeah.
Phil, I love the music.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you bought the little contraptions. Kevin is obsessed with doohickeys. He is who QVC markets to. If he actually had more time to watch QVC,
Okay, I'm not talking about QVC.
He
You're
would.
real good at this. You
Okay,
need to take the whole
but-
seminar too.
but
Thank
he
you.
basically bought all of these little cell phone holders
Uh-huh.
that you put into the vent in the car.
Yep.
I mean, as if it's like 1989, and he thought it was like the coolest contraption
Still think
ever.
it's amazing
Oh no! You know what you want to do when you have to try to move the vent because the air is coming at you? You can't
to work.
because the doohickey
What
is
did
in
I
there.
say? It's a prototype. It's a work in progress. They also have ones that go
I
in
feel
the
like
cup
we've
holders.
lost the point of
Yeah, I
this.
think we've gone off track here.
Well, if
Where did
Kevin
you-
likes to
where did
buy
you buy
doohickeys
these?
on Amazon.com.
There we go.
And go ahead.
And you can buy
no, I'm
doohickeys
done.
too.
You guys
Okay.
take it from here.
Yeah, here, I'll
Go
do.
ahead.
No, just for everybody listening,
Go
go to the
ahead.
AfterBuzzTV.com, and whenever you need to buy something, click on the Amazon banner. It'll take you right to the Amazon, or to the
So
Amazon.
let me
the
say
real
this.
Amazon.
No, so I did. I buy. I go to our website. I see the Amazon banner. I click on that. I buy my doohickeys sneakers or luggage, which those doohickeys is exactly how I bought them. And you know what? It didn't cost me any extra money. It doesn't cost you any extra money as one of our listeners, but we get a little taste back, and that's what helps us all for just 2 more seconds of your time. So when you make your Amazon purchase, please go to our website, click on that banner. It'll take you right to Amazon. Buy away. It just helps us, and we appreciate it.
It's
We
called
very
our-
much appreciate it.
It's called our division of labor.
Yes. There we
What a
go.
great transition. All right, well, let's talk about the division of labor. Mike is taking control and
Yeah.
is clearly the alpha,
He's
but
in.
there's another alpha in the room. So,
There's two
John, who
alphas.
do you think is the real alpha here?
Well, I mean, they're doing a great job with this particular episode of setting up all the conflicts that we're going to be dealing with this first 8 episodes. I mean, and obviously Mike and Walt are going to be the big ones. But what I liked about this storyline before we get into the big division of labor was I liked the way it started with the jail cell and him. He's the paralegal.
I'm like, he's really old to be a paralegal.
Actually, he's not, Maria. Like, it's not like you become a paralegal to become a lawyer. That's someone's profession.
Yeah, that's true. But I've never
But
seen a
he
paralegal
just-
look like him.
Even with the suit, he just doesn't have the
He doesn't
look of a
fit.
paralegal. I
Thank
just thought it was
you.
great. I thought it was great. I love the way the whole thing was set up when Dennis was brought in and he sees the lawyer and then he sees Mike and it's like, and even the way the not only the look that Dennis gave Mike, but the way he kind of skirted around him to sit down. He's like, oh man, this is not. I'm not ready for this. What the hell's going on? Why Mike is here? So it really set up that that Mike's the man with these guys. So I thought that part was great. And then the lawyer puts the earplugs in so
You
he
knew
can't hear
exactly
anything.
what was going to happen before the music
Little-
even came on to make it
Yeah.
obvious.
Have a little plausible deniability. Oh, I didn't hear anything. So.
Right? You knew
that was
exactly what
really-
was happening, right, Kev?
Of course. It was interesting, too, to see the height difference, how much bigger Mike
Yeah.
was than the guy.
Yeah.
I thought this guy, he looked pretty
looked pretty
burly
good
and stocky.
until they-
And they purposely shot it. In the 2-shot, you see Mike is bigger than him, so Mike's the one with power.
Right.
Kind of scary, though, again, from our friend Michael August, was, he's concerned that Mike walking through the door with the exit sign,
Yeah.
he's hoping that isn't a symbol, right? Christian symbolism that he's going to die.
I see that coming. He has to.
Yeah.
Well,
And Walt's gonna orchestrate it, whether or not he'll do
I
it.
love Michael August because I didn't notice the exit sign. But I will say this at the end when Walt says, I think he flew a little too close to the sun.
Yeah.
Jesse doesn't really understand what he's talking about, but in my mind, I was thinking instantly, Mike's got to go. Because Mike is in charge right now, and even though Mike, Walt said he handles the biz and I handle him, he is going to handle him.
Yeah, I think
because
he's
he's not
handling him
making
now.
the money.
Yeah.
But the other problem is, I feel like Jesse has 2 fathers. He has Walt, and then he has Mike as 2 father figures. And Walt can see that, and he doesn't like that. And Jesse also kind of tries to,
Peacemake.
He does. He's like, you can just take the money out of my portion. He doesn't want the tension between Mike and Walt to build, but I think it's just going to continue to build, and I feel like Mike's got to go.
It stinks because I like Mike so much as an
Yeah.
actor. Like, I knew Gus had to go because Gus was such a super villain.
Yeah.
But I'm going to really miss Mike if he
Oh,
does
yeah.
go on
Me
this.
too.
He's got to go in order for. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but Walt, in order for him to be the really bad Scarface that we know he's gonna be, he's gonna kill Mike.
Do you see the way he used to grovel to Mike? He was always
Yeah.
so fearful, and now it's
Mike, please. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now it's the stare downs.
Yeah. Oh, and the hand in front.
Well, it's
You know,
like
putting the hand on the money. Don't touch that yet.
it's 2 alphas going head to head. I mean,
that's-
they're
that's
both
all.
alphas. They're both.
They're testing the.
It's
testing
also
each
the
other.
lack of communication that's stirring it up, too.
Well, Walt's also there was that one scene when Mike was talking to the pest control guys.
Yeah.
Walt was noticing, okay, what is he doing? And part of him also was like, you know what, I like being called yes sir, no sir, and you know
Yeah.
what, Mike, you're gonna call me just that.
Jesse
Or
liked it
worse.
too.
Yeah, they both.
Yeah.
did.
It's interesting now. He said, "Do not speak to him unless you're spoken to."
Yeah.
Interesting how Todd
Todd did.
came up and said, "No, he offered some good information,
Right.
Mhm.
but he also broke a rule."
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
And Walt
Well-
made sure he found out his name, which scared
Yeah,
me.
because then he knows he's got an ally.
No, it scared me because he broke the rule.
Well, that part. I was speaking to Kevin for a second. I think I think Walt plugged that away and said, "Okay, this guy I might be able to use."
That's what I wanted to know. Is it because he wants to
Yeah.
use him, or because he
Right.
spoke? He spoke when he wasn't supposed to speak.
No,
was
I think it's
afraid of
because
that.
he's going to be able to use him. I think that he wants to use him.
Well, I think that as well because
I
this
felt
was
that
our
too, but-
introduction to Todd, and he's gonna. If we got to know his name already, he's gonna be a bigger character. So
And by the way, he looks different than all the other workers.
Yeah.
The other workers, Ira, Fernando, like all these,
Yeah.
and Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
well,
like-
it's the look too. He seemed innocent, baby face, like
Yeah.
somebody you can manipulate and
Jesse.
control. Yeah, just
And he
like
wants
Jesse.
to make a name for himself.
Well,
as well.
Jesse wasn't.
Because I
Jesse
mean,
wasn't. I mean, Jesse was running drugs and doing all that, so he wasn't really, a good kid per se.
But-
this kid looks really sweet and innocent, where you could really.
but he's a Billionaire. We know that. So He's not.
Yeah.
He's not innocent.
Right.
He's
And he's
been
doing this. He's
stealing.
taking
Been
10
stealing.
grand for his effort. So, but what I liked about it was
Good point.
he didn't have to say anything because he said there's an anti-cam and I've disabled it. Just thought you should know. He didn't have to say anything because he's disabled it. So what's the point of telling him?
Because you want in.
He wants them to know who he is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I did a solid for you. I just, just want to let you know.
Yeah.
He's trying to make a name for himself.
I want him on my team.
That's right, exactly. And that's why I think, what's your name? I think he's going to use him somehow. Now, how, I don't know, but.
Do
that'll
we
be
like the
interesting.
Terminator business cover-up?
Sure.
You know, another great. This is from Steve the Steamer, and I was thinking the same thing. Really not good advertising for the termination business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the your house cased. You're
Yeah,
gonna get your
exactly.
keys copied.
That's all
Yeah.
I thought about is I'm never gonna leave anyone to come bug my house or anything.
Uh-huh.
And from Mike August and myself too. How horrifying is those fumes going into the
baby
neighbors?
pool.
yeah.
That was like a little kid pool. It
Yeah,
wasn't
they
even
didn't.
the neighbor.
I
It was
thought
the
they'd at
kids.
least exhaust them up. You know what I mean? No, just right out across the kiddie pool or whatever.
The
hell
kid
it
gets
was.
in the
Yeah,
water and
exactly.
like goes under,
Yeah.
and then all of a
You
sudden
know-
it's drinking water. It's like
Thinking this show too, for all the credit it gets, it doesn't get enough credit for just not. We talk about the production design, the colors, but the actual props.
Yeah.
You know, how cool was the red floored, the old
Yeah.
The
meth
cook-
lab?
yeah,
How
yeah.
like just interesting looking and
Yeah.
and same now with this setup
green
of
and
the
yellow.
clear plastic.
Mhm.
Oh, right, the green and yellow
Yeah.
tarp is really pretty, and then the clear tent
Yeah.
and the colors, and then the smoke going over it. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's just very interesting stuff
Yeah.
to film, and they always seem to find a way to do
And
that.
the way, I don't know what they were doing in that lab, but the little thing they did with their chemicals and that little
Synthesizing.
Rorschach thing coming in over the music and
mhm.
all
Oh,
that smoke and the
we were
electricity,
talking
it's
about
like-
that. The song.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't get to see the
On a
credits.
clear day.
On a clear day.
Yeah.
Just an interesting song
Yeah,
for
and,
the
and an interesting. That's not usually that's not the pop version. That's a very interesting take. That's not the usual
On
one
that
you would
song.
hear. Yeah. I forgot. I don't know who did it, but I didn't get a
and
chance.
you
to
know
look
and you know I know some of the fans you might want to bring up the colors, but
at- yeah.
you know Saul's in the red
Yeah.
when they make their unholy alliance with
Right.
the four of them, which means like okay, this is
Mhm.
bad. But now you know Saul's going to the greens.
Yeah, and really colorful too. in that
Well, the
time.
greens and the yellows because green is growth, and we're starting something new
Yeah.
with that.
Finish, but I want to go
Okay.
next.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, then you see Jesse with the bright red bag at the end.
Good point.
Yeah.
What
As the door closed, I mean, they wanted
Yeah,
you
yeah,
to
yeah.
see that red
Mhm.
bag.
That's the last
And
image.
look at his girlfriend.
Yeah,
in
Andrea.
the red. Andrea's in the red.
Andrea.
Yeah.
Poor Andrea.
Yeah, poor Andrea.
Yeah.
What
Oh.
about when they were Saul was taking them around and it was kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears? No, this
I
this lab
know.
won't work. It's food distribution.
This
no, the
one's
steam
just
from
right.
this one.
Just right. Yeah.
I loved
That
that.
was nice. I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Saul's always
And it also
trying.
showed it showed yeah, obviously it showed Walt being smart about the salt and the the moisture and all that other stuff. But Jesse too, he was
as
aware.
well.
And you saw him even with the whole thing about the tent, and you saw the whole thing with the tank with
Yep.
the motor, and so you see really Jesse stepping up his expertise and his knowledgeability and how he can participate in this. But it also I'm getting ahead with the Walt Jesse thing. But
Well, I think we should move on to Walt Jesse actually, because I think we have a lot to talk about with that. So continue on. We're in that topic.
oh, we are. We're gonna
Now
jump
we're
right into
in.
it.
Oh well.
I
Should we
don't know.
talk about our podcast app?
We don't have one because, well, you know, Phil keeps asking for one, and unfortunately, you're too cheap to let him have one. So, anyway, listen.
If more people go to Amazon.com and click
Yep.
and
We'll
buy
be
their
able to afford one.
purchases, we'll be able to afford one.
Okay.
Okay, good enough.
Also,
So we really leave it up to you guys.
no, what we really need so after they do the Amazons,
Yeah.
we'd love you guys to keep going to iTunes and keep giving us your ratings and your comments. We love them. We use them, and it helps us with iTunes. We end up on the homepage now consistently because of you. And if you can do that for us and tell a friend about us, you've done your job. And we really do appreciate it. And it really does help. And Kristen, did any comments from people on YouTube that you want to talk about? Or
Yeah, actually, Eric N said that he emails and Facebook messages our show to all his friends.
Ooh, we
great.
love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you, Eric.
And we have Kill Immortal, Red Jack Rose,
Kill
Skim Midturn, Andrew Figurelli. We have Josh Ortiz, Fan 1009, Daniel, Mad Mimi, and Richard all left us a nice comment.
Nice
Thank
ones.
you.
Thanks,
So
guys.
you mean people we didn't
We
mention?
appreciate that.
No, sometimes we do. When
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
we
that's
I
true.
always do.
No, we
'cause
try to address
Bad
if we can.
feedback
Yeah.
is still appreciated.
No, if we could-
So
anyway.
we can fix those.
We can
things.
learn from
Exactly.
that.
Oh man, Walt and Jesse.
Oh,
That
Okay,
just
remember last season
spooky.
when Gus was really grooming Jesse to take that spot? Did you? All of that was, you could see it in every scene he had with Jesse. You could see him grooming, positioning him here, moving him there, just moving him across the board, planting seeds. Well, you should probably. I don't know how much you're gonna tell Andrea. You're both
I
fat,
know.
But look, the decision is yours. You've
I
earned
trust
it.
you.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Really
What was his,
solidifying that relationship.
so what was his end goal with that? Walt's end goal.
Well, to tell basically, I think when he said, "I can't deny that this, whatever you do affects me," I have.
Yeah,
He
don't
wants
F
her to get
up.
rid of her.
Yeah, I think that by getting rid of her,
He gets rid of Brock.
Jesse actually saved Andrea's life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that she was safe after Walt's
She's
go
a
around with
liability.
them. Exactly.
Which is why Skyler is terrified of this man.
I think he's just trying to control the whole thing as best he can. I want to know where everybody is, what they're all doing, and
Well,
what
you have
leverage I
to.
need in order to. Yeah, he's the
What-
CEO.
You always have to worry about what these people are going home to. I worry about it with my friends. If I tell you a secret, you're going to tell your wife,
Well,
right?
not
Or
me.
at least I have to be worried that you're going to go home and tell
Uh-huh.
your wife. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm not telling you because
There
you're
you
a
go.
liability because you may
Mhm.
go tell your wife.
That's right.
So, right?
And
Definitely.
and the other thing is the whole Brock thing. Of course he wants to,
I was puking in that
get
moment.
Andrea.
I'm
and
like,
Brock
is this
out of the
kid
picture.
going to
We don't want that-
recognize them?
Yeah, we don't. He doesn't want that coming back. He doesn't want to have. He just get that out of here.
Kids have great instincts, though.
They do.
Just
They do.
bad
And he knew. Right.
vibe from
So
him.
what did you guys think of when the son was playing video games and Walt was there and they were just alone? What was going through Walt's head when he was staring at him?
When he was staring at the kid.
Yes.
Guilt.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I didn't think it's like, how do I keep this from being a liability? Is what I was thinking. How do I get this out of here?
You don't think at all it was not guilt, but just reflection on, wow, I almost killed you.
I was thinking that.
I don't think. I think he was
No.
like, "What's
I
my
didn't
next
get that.
steps on what do I say to Jesse to make sure this doesn't become a problem?"
I think it was a little awkward for him. He's sitting next to a kid
It
that he
felt,
poisoned.
you know what, Maria? I think that's a great way to put it, awkward, because I think
Yeah.
the way they shot it, that last
Yeah.
handheld two-shot,
He was like-
awkward. It was awkward.
yeah, it was
Um,
awkward.
Yeah, because again, it's kind of the same thing. The point is making. You didn't think you'd have to deal with it, and then it's right in front of you, and you go, "Well, shoot, I am gonna have to deal with this."
You know the other change I saw in Walt, too?
Yeah.
The fact that when they offered him dinner and a beer, he goes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas remember last year
Yeah.
when Jesse was like, you want to hang out? Nope,
No.
nope.
Exactly.
Now, to me, again, more Gus, because Gus coming over for soup. Remember,
That's
Gus
right.
made Walt the
That's what I
dinner, and
He's
so-
a gangster now. He's got
Yeah.
nothing to worry about.
well, and also no, Maria, understanding the socializing.
Right.
That's also important part of the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and what is Andrea says? Oh, she walks in and Jesse goes, oh, this is and he says, Walt says, my friend. Did you see the look on Jesse's
Mhm.
face? It's like, I don't think that even crossed his mind that would be a word that he would use.
Well, think about this. You know, when you said earlier that Jesse has two dads now, in a sense, right? Walt doesn't want him to be closer to Mike. Mike isn't socializing, but you know what? Walt can socialize with Jesse and be part of the family so that that
Okay.
connection's stronger.
Right.
Right, and
So-
even Walt kind of says, "It's nice to see you with Andrea."
Yeah.
And Brock.
And that was the next scene, which I
Like,
thought was a
yeah.
great progression. The first time they're all together, oh, yeah, sure, I'll stick around, we'll have a beer. The next time that they're really talking about that, they've had their cook, they're sitting down, sharing a beer together,
Great
having a
scene.
beer, watching TV, talking family, talking the future, you know.
That was Gus and Walt having
Yeah,
that dinner.
Exactly.
And also Gus saying to him, you know, what we do for our families.
yeah,
We
the
do-
whole
you
thing was
know.
about family.
And he, of course, used that last week
Yeah.
on Skyler.
But I love what Walt said to Jesse in this episode in that moment when he said secrets create barriers
Ugh.
between people. He goes, believe me, I know.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, you're
Yep.
sitting there and you're like, you're having this intimate moment with someone who you have so many secrets from.
Yep.
And there's such a barrier, obviously, because the second that barrier is lifted and he knows,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah. The betrayal is going to be awesome.
And you see Jesse has grown so much.
Right.
When you see him in this episode, he has grown so much. He's smart. He's a businessman now. You know, he's got the map built out for the new lab, and I love how all the cases, everything's in a case, so it's easily compact and put back together.
Shout out to the Guitar Center.
Yeah, that was nice. But also the way he did that with his boys. His guys, what was it, Skinny Pete, and I forgot that. Badger, they come.
They're
Hey,
awesome.
first of all, great scene for those guys. Love to see them go. Skinny Pete, good on the keys.
Yeah.
But the next scene, when they drop the stuff off and they're asking them, hey, you know, you got anything for us? Can we
It's
stay?
like the old days.
Yeah,
We're
exactly. Let's get
putting
the band back together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Three Stooges, right?
Exactly. And he's thinking about it. He knows he shouldn't, but then, of course, he sees Mike and he can't do it.
Ain't
So he's
happening.
giving up the childish things because he's
Right.
moving on. He's moved beyond them already.
I mean, this is the evolution of
So we
Jesse
got to see that.
Pinkman.
Yeah.
But it's also the evolution of him being conned by Walter White through all of this. For how long? And I just feel like Walter White actually having that drink with him and going in Andrea's house and accepting the dinner is just one more part of him conning him, because then he was able to talk to Jesse about Andrea.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Jesse would listen because of his time with him.
absolutely. I actually had a point about Jesse growing up that I just lost in my mind. Shoot, I lost it again.
All right.
Damn, I hate when that happens.
That's all right. I'm sure you'll find it. But let's talk about the last scene then. I mean, that's the last part of the Walt Jesse thing. This is after they have their divvy up the money.
Oh, that's
Should we
what I was
probably-
going to say.
All right, you want to talk about the money first, or do you want to go talk to Walt?
Well,
and
no,
Jesse?
what I thought was amazing is Jesse would never have been okay with giving more money up. And now he's like, no, just take it out of my pile. Like, let's just keep the peace here. Because he loves both of them. Or not loves them, but he's trying to keep the peace between all of them. But what I loved was as the scene was starting, I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. And
They
not
show
in
the
a
knife.
bad way where I'm not happy as a viewer. I'm
Uh-huh.
annoyed. I was so excited that, Saul's this, like, I'm in charge kind of guy. And you instantly saw that, okay, your way is not the right way. Because even I'm annoyed. I'm like, no, go get those trucks from the impound yard, those refrigerator trucks. And I thought that was what Walt was going to say. Well, then why don't we go get them? What are we spending all this money on these drivers for when we can get, Jesse's friends to go drive, right? Pay them $1,000 each. Let's go. Get Badger in there.
No, but that wouldn't work. That would be sloppy. It
Even
wouldn't
bigger
work.
liability. With
I
those
think
guys.
he's just saying, why do I have to pay
Yeah.
for past damages?
He's trying to handle Mike there. I think he's trying to figure out a way, and then okay, that's not gonna work because I got to figure. Because some of what Mike was saying was legit. All of what he was saying.
No,
was
he
legit.
wasn't though. Because
Yeah, it was.
no, the guys that were a part of that old crew,
Yeah.
Like-
the
Legacy.
Hazard Money, the legacy guys, have nothing to do with Walt and Jesse. They're only protecting Mike from being ratted on. It has nothing to
Well-
do with those guys.
well,
I mean, it's
But by extension,
by extension.
everybody. Because if Mike's not gonna, Mike's gonna turn.
But those guys don't know about his new business and who he's in business
Yeah, but
with.
those guys lead to Mike. If Mike wants to avoid.
How are you gonna find Mike?
Which is why
Well,
Mike
that's
needs
why.
to go.
What do you mean? Those guys? Those guys know Mike. They're his guys. If they turn anybody in,
He
they're
killed
gonna.
Chow. The other one's in
Right.
jail. The other one's a.
But didn't you hear what Dennis said?
No,
One
yeah.
of those guys, they
Right.
don't have any money. They don't have any resources. They
They're
think,
still-
look, my hazard pay is gone. You guys have left me out to hang out to dry, and I've got nothing. The only way to avoid all this and to help my family is turn somebody up higher than me.
You're right, and
It was
actually,
Mike.
because they're using the same distribution channels, they would find him.
You know,
Okay,
they're
all right,
all
I
under-
get that.
They're all under.
And by the letter of business, the only thing is if that could have been communicated up front, Mike, when they wanted to partner with Mike would have
Yeah.
to say, listen, well,
Yeah.
you've got to pay for my guys
Yeah.
in the slammer, because if something happens to them, so's going to happen to me and
Yeah.
everything around me. So
Right.
it's just as long as you know. And so he didn't. So he has to. The one, like, a little bit of a flaw I'm seeing here, just as a brother who's in law enforcement,
Right.
they'd have eyes on Mike right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And the fact that Mike is walking by video cameras to visit, anytime someone visits
Somebody else.
a
in the slammer,
jailbird,
Yeah.
they have records of that.
Yeah.
And I can't, and the fact that he's able to kind of even walk out of that, the extermination place with the bag of money, kind of makes me think like there'd be a tail on him, like people watching. But I'm willing to let it
Who
slide
knows,
because I
maybe.
love this
Well,
show so much.
we might find out what that is next week because Hank's back. Who knows? They might have something on that.
Where they're watching him.
Yeah, because we see Hank coming back. We see the board, the I forgot what they
know.
call that, the investigation board
Yeah.
where they see all Gus and
the
all
web.
exactly all the lines drawn to all the pictures and all that other stuff. So we might see what kind of hand the cops are playing at the moment.
No.
Maybe they're following him. Maybe I don't know.
What's funny is how fast the Mexican cartel found Walt and Hank, and it's taking the DEA to find.
Well, they
Mr.
think
F.
they got their guy.
Right.
They got Gus, and they got
Yeah.
most of his people.
But
So-
Hank doesn't.
Yeah, but Hank doesn't. But
No Hank in
he's-
this
he's
episode
barely-
was
no
kind of
Hank,
sad.
yeah,
I
he's
missed
back.
Hank.
Where is he?
He'll be back next week.
It wasn't
But,
my favorite episode. I am gonna say that. I was not as riveted as I was in every episode up until now.
Whenever they manufacture the meth, that's the episodes that I kind of fall out of it a little bit because it's really just to move the plot forward, and it's less about developing the relationships.
See, I differ because I felt this was really about Walt grooming Jesse and really solidifying
I can
that
see that.
relationship. And even the way they shot this one, especially when they're making the meth, again from behind, and then they look at each other. I mean, they're in tandem now. It's not, hey, you do this, you do what I tell you, put that amount in. They were sharing everything in this whole time. So you see them and being friends, and it's that one up, one down thing is now coming more in parallel.
It was definitely necessary.
No, for sure.
I agree. I would agree with you, John. I like when they. I like seeing the big stack of money. I don't like seeing
Yeah.
Walt poor last week.
Yeah.
I want to get
The
this.
big stack of money went away. He was
Yeah,
poor
that
again.
was
You guys,
great,
we're
Yeah.
what? We're episode 3. Come
Yeah.
on, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Trust me. By episode 6 and 7.
Though
talk to me.
what's one of the things I appreciate is when they do take their time, because I like them going here and there and stuff like
Let
that.
me just also say about Jesse, he's not. It's not that he loves them so much. He does like them a lot.
Yeah.
He's being the most logical
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
said we are making more money,
Yeah.
and also when you own a business,
Mhm.
you're the last one to get paid.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks like owning a business is so cool, and it's
Yeah.
like your head's on the chopping block. So whether
Yeah.
it's a restaurant, a bar, or a meth lab,
Yeah.
you know, you pay all these. It happens all the time. You know,
Yeah.
again, for my own business and the Carney business, we
Yeah.
we would gross a ton of cash.
And then it goes up.
And you Kristen, your family was in that business too.
Right.
So you get so excited the night after a show because you'd have all this cash that all of a sudden, be like, okay, propane guy, electricity guy, the guy who gives us the oil, the guy who gives us the flour, the guy, and then your pay, your help,
Yeah.
your permit, your this, your that, and then and
That's
then
it?
you're left with this little amount. So it's
Yeah.
very realistic, but that's the price you pay for being an owner.
Well, yeah.
And Jesse gets that.
Yeah. And more than Walt, because Walt's just so greedy right
So
now.
greedy.
But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, Jesse is there not for the money. He's there because he needs a father figure in his life. And now he has 2. And he was never respected from his father for any accomplishes he ever even tried to do. And
Right.
now he's just respected by 2 of these guys as a partner and looked at
See,
equally.
I'm not sure he really, because I don't really see him Mike being a father figure as much as you do, only because
I think they're just
they
bonded.
don't share the time. The father figure before was Gus, and that was happening. So I'm sure he'll fill a void or something like that. But right now, I don't even think, because I didn't see any kind of
Well, do
him
you
trying to
remember-
cull him away. So I didn't.
It's
see
Walt.
They're just bonded because they've gone through major ordeals together
Yeah.
and had each other's backs. That's why
And by the
they
way,
have that rapport.
and also to get Mike's a pretty incredible guy, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
I
to
mean,
get
he-
his respect is a
it's
big
huge.
deal.
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants to feel that in some way in their life, and so he's giving it to him, and so it means a lot. So
Well, before we go, I just wanted to say, because I still want to go back to the visual of all those 3 stacks of money on that table. I thought that was a great visual for us as audiences to go, geez, because, think of all the cash, my God. And then, speaking to your point, it all goes away.
Right.
And I really felt Walt going,
Yeah.
he's just staring at the stack diminish, and he's
Right.
like, what the
might as
hell?
well go back to
Where's all my... Exactly, and he even says that thing. It's like, this is less than with Gus.
And then, but Jesse said, but
Yeah.
we're made
Made-
far less product.
Yeah, which I thought was great. Less than a quarter of the product, and they still made and it's a huge amount of money. But for one cook, they all made that money. That's like, geez, no wonder. It's crazy, that kind of cash.
love it. Should we go to
Yeah,
commercial?
that was good.
Come back with some
Well,
news
what
and
about
gossip?
we gotta take that last scene. What does that last scene mean?
Oh, about flying close.
Was he
Wait,
bringing it up to Jesse because he's trying to let Jesse putting that in his brain like he put the thing in with the brain with Andrea?
So
like
let's
you may
just
have
give the
to-
audience some reference when they're talking
Yeah.
about Victor.
Yeah,
right?
they're
Is
talking
that
about Victor, who was obviously the one who got his throat cut in the box cutter show from last season.
One of the best
So,
episodes
and
ever.
why he brought that up now? which was very interesting.
Because he's upset.
Yeah, I know, but why? I'm just. What's in Walt's mind? Is he doing it to? Is it because he's trying to tell Jesse this is what's going to happen to Mike, or is he just bringing it
What's
up?
the analogy? I was going to ask you the same thing.
I was a little lost too because he was saying that this is what Victor did. Victor picked up the cook, overstepped his boundaries.
Right. And
Right?
to me, that was kind of like, well, Mike is overstepping
Right.
his boundaries in his mind.
Right.
Because Mike's doing all this. He didn't tell us about the legacy pay. He didn't tell us anything. And even though he's running that part of the business, I don't know why I'm picking up the tab for his part of the business.
He's flying too close. So Walt's saying two things. He's flying Mike is flying too close to the sun, and it's interesting that he said he referenced what Gus did, and what he's saying is I'm supposed to do what Gus.
Oh yeah, and was
Right.
Gus trying to teach me a lesson? And I just thought all of that was interesting because if I was Jesse, I'd also be going, is he trying to send me a message here? Am I
Jesse
going to
did
throw?
look threatened.
Yeah,
as
is he
well.
going to cut my throat? What the hell's going on? I just thought it was great that he left that and didn't explain it.
Well, also, if you think about it, Walt could be upset that Jesse decided to give him his money. And he could be saying he's, like you always say, don't cut my, off.
Yeah.
Like Walt was trying to make a point to Mike.
Right.
And then he wasn't able to really get it across because
Jesse said, here, take the money.
I think he's looking to rally Jesse's support to ultimately kill Mike.
Well,
He's
yeah, I mean, that's the
planting
way
the seed.
it would
Well,
be.
and guess who's
I
going to
know-
kill him? The man with the red bag.
Oh. You may have
But
to.
wait, that's my prediction for later.
That's very Oedipal. Kill that father figure.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
But I liked that it was left for us to just go, what the hell? And Jesse certainly didn't understand
He didn't know
fully
either.
what that meant.
Mm.
But he was certainly threatened by it.
He was digesting it.
All right, let's go to commercial. We'll come back with some news and gossip, maybe.
I
or,
have one
some
thing.
predictions.
Oh, what do we got?
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
No, I'm sorry. I was
killing
bullied
us,
at the
Phil.
beginning, so I'm
Okay.
going to bring it back to the beginning. Only because wasn't Marie talking about Hank to Skyler? And don't you think that was part of her freaking out? Like, oh my God, Hank is so close, and we're talking about my husband.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, because the walls will be closing in on her. Sure.
So next time, don't bully me.
Oh, I'll bully you if I want, Mr. Svitek.
Now we can go to commercial.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AfterBuzz TV. And why? Because AfterBuzz TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows. Like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AfterBuzz TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AfterBuzz TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
Do we have news and gossip?
AfterBuzz
Yeah.
TV News.
All right.
All right, some news for you guys. Season 5 premiere actually raked in 2.9 million viewers, which is up 14% from last season.
Makes sense.
It was the most watched episode thus far. So a lot of people are playing catch up. And also, Vince was talking about a spin-off with Saul Goodman. Basically a
Wow.
law
Love that.
and order show without any law and order. And he said it'd be nice to see a lawyer who will do anything to stay out of the courtroom. Even settle on the courthouse steps.
I mean, he wasn't joking. Seriously,
No. He said, there hasn't been that much development, but that he's talked to Saul and,
Or Bob Odenkirk,
Bob
yeah.
Odenkirk, and
I think
He
it's
was a go
interesting
for it.
because we've never seen a spin-off of one of these shows yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've seen sitcom
Yeah.
spin-offs. We've seen some one-hour dramas on network.
But no, like Mad Men or
No.
anything
Or
like
Sopranos. We've never
Yeah.
interesting.
Odenkirk is amazing, though. He deserves it.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Right, and then I don't know if you guys caught the Aaron Paul on Price is Right video that was going
What?
around. Yes, he was on Price is Right when he first came out to LA, and it actually was so nice to see him be like human, because now he's all like reserved, you know,
Uh-huh.
but when he was on stage, he was like obsessed with Bob Barker. He got to the end. It was amazing. You guys gotta Google it.
Yeah,
I have
Dang
to
it.
see it. We
There you
should put it
go.
on our website.
Yeah, we totally should.
He tells the story about how he got selected for that and how he went crazy so that they would pick him. And stuff
Phil,
like
let's
that,
put it
yeah.
on the website.
Except we really can't put it on the website because you won't let us get a new website.
Okay,
credit.
but if people who are watching this go to Amazon, go to AfterBuzz TV and click on the Amazon link and buy their purchases through us, then we could maybe afford to put it on the website next time.
Maybe.
Okay, cool.
And then one more thing. So last week, whenever it looked like they were at a German corporate building, that was actually a high school in Albuquerque.
Wow.
That they just transformed.
Wow.
A lot of the art department, you know, everyone did research,
Yeah.
especially with the cop uniforms, because it's not like badges,
Mhm.
it's like patches. So that was actually filmed in New Mexico.
A lot of work on that one. That was
Well,
great.
everything's filmed in New
Yeah.
Mexico,
Right.
though, right?
So, I mean, for people who think that it was Germany,
Got
it
it.
was filmed there, and it was actually at a high school.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Transformed into a high school, so it was
Very
really nice.
Nice production design and
Yeah.
art direction. Way to go, crew.
Good news and gossip.
Yay. That's it.
All right.
On to predictions.
On to predictions.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, I will start because I think I already said that I predict Mike's gonna go, and it's
Next
probably gonna
week?
be not next
Okay.
week. Well, it's a future prediction. I just
Right.
saw the red bag, and I just felt like
And you think that it's gonna be Jesse that does it?
it's gotta be Jesse.
Okay.
Yeah, Walt doesn't want to do the dirty work.
Well,
You've
yeah,
seen
he
he
really
pawns
hasn't,
it
yeah.
off.
He's delegator.
Yeah, I know a few of those too.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kevin, prediction?
Well, we're going to continue to grow. He's going to continue to make more money.
Is
It-
Skyler gonna chirp?
No. He's only going to get more powerful. We have, 13 more episodes to go. You're going to see, this guy is going to... This
Skyler,
is
though.
nothing with Walt. He's going to just, every week, he's going to get more powerful, more arrogant, more sure of himself. And, it does look like Mike is going to be the liability, although they're going to have to figure out distribution and they're going to have to figure out all that other stuff. So that's why I don't know. I don't think it's something fast. I think
No.
it's probably last episode of this season.
Yeah,
John,
they gotta
I
get up and
asked
running.
you the question that he ignored.
What's that?
Did you even hear me?
What?
Is Skyler gonna chirp?
She's not gonna chirp. I hope.
No.
I hope they make her crack even more. I hope
Yeah,
she's
that's
like
what I want to say.
wandering the halls like Lady Macbeth or something, going crazy. And I think she's gonna try to figure out how do I get my family away from him, which would cause great conflict.
Yeah.
She may even kind of suck up to him. And
Yeah,
like she
and
may
placate. and
yes.
all that
Wait,
other
I
stuff.
just realized he's doing the same thing with Walt Jr. that he's doing with Jesse.
Yes.
Kissing butt, hanging with the boy and the
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you can't get rid of him, just like Jesse can't get rid of Walt. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So anyway, that's
That it?
yeah, that's all I got for that. I just think that part will be fun. I hope they go that route, because then we'll get to see her go crazy and then come out of it.
We
and
also,
do-
but let's not forget. Sorry, John, to cut you off.
That's right.
We can't forget the side of Skyler that loves the power.
Yeah.
We're just not seeing it the last couple of episodes, but
Because she's freaked out.
but when she said to, her
Good.
her fling,
Yeah.
she says to him, yeah, good, and we've seen her be.
But it wasn't just about power. Sorry to interrupt, but it was also about her knowing that okay, if I play it this way, then I'm safe, and so is my family.
But when she dealt with that car wash guy, John,
That's
she was
true.
getting
Yeah,
off
that's
on
true.
it.
That's true. And we saw him in the preview. There was money, and I don't know. It looked like he gave it to her. That might be the thing that snaps her out of it.
To the point where you guys said where she said good to Ted, did you guys notice last week whenever Walt actually said good when Mike called him and said that he was going to join them? That's all he said was good. So I like that they brought that
Interesting.
back.
Ah, I didn't notice
Good
that.
catch.
Any predictions?
Yes, who's scarier than Gus? It's Walt. We didn't think it could get any scarier than it is. And Aaron Paul actually said in an interview that there's something else driving Walt this season, and it's not just the money. So I'm really interested to find out what that is exactly. And do you guys think
Strap a pair on.
that
that's what it is.
Hank will find out at the end of this 8 episodes? Or will it be the last 8 episodes that Hank will find out?
Hank's going to find out in the season finale because that will be the cliffhanger to get us into the next season. And I'll say this, you know what's driving Walt probably? is he beat Gus, now he wants to beat Hank. You big, smart DEA agent. I'm going to beat you.
And the fact that the son, it's interesting because the fact
Right?
that Walt Jr. idolizes Hank too.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's even bigger than that. I think he wants to. He wants to be the big dude.
I just figured it all out,
Beyond
guys.
everything. I think I think it's the seduction of power that he's after. He's got his balls now, and he's gonna use them. I think that's
He's
what
got
it's
big
all about.
cojones. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to AfterBuzz Breaking Bad edition here in Studio B, which I happen to say this is my first time in here, even as the owner of AfterBuzz, and
First time.
I love it in here.
It's great.
I've been deflowered in Studio B. So
Where do they find you guys?
Oh my God.
Hi, honey.
I fell off the radar. So at Maria Menounos and what does it, Phil? Info at AfterBuzz or at AfterBuzz TV?
At AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, info at AfterBuzz TV.
Kevin quit Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, Kristen.
I'm Kristen Elizabeth Snyder, and you can find me at Cinematic Escape. And John, can we find you?
me right here.
Yep. Me and John are off the radar.
That's right.
Where we belong.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Ghost.
See you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz ya later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.